create inequalities, so in other words, you have to come up with them in one variable. They should only have one variable, and even though you might feel like there's more than one unknown, in reality, you should be able to set up one variable for it as a common unknown, and then use that inequality to help you solve problems, to problem solve. So let's look at our first one on here. To rent a certain vehicle, not saying what kind of a car it is, or truck, or whatever it is, Rent a Ride charges $55 per day with unlimited miles. So you just have to pay $55 each day that you have it. Doesn't matter how many miles you put on it, right? The cost of renting a similar vehicle at We Got Wheels is $38 per day. Their charge per day is less, but they charge 20 cents for every mile that you put on it. Okay. For what number of miles is the cost of Rent a Ride less than the cost of We Got Wheels? So you're trying to decide which place should you rent from. It looks like right now, possibly, you say, well, wait a minute, it's less per day for We Got Wheels. But then there's also the fact that Rent a Ride, even though they charge more per day, they don't charge you for anything for the miles that you put on it. So let's decide, first of all, what's our variable in this situation? What's it going to represent? It's the unknown. Blake?
days.
Number of days. Okay. So for what number of miles, it's asking, is the cost of Rent a Ride less than the cost of We Got Wheels? So days plays an important role in it, but what really is it that we are looking for? The number of miles. For what number of miles is the cost of Rent a Ride less than We Got Wheels? So what do you want the variable to be, Blake? M? Okay, so let's first write that down. Let's write that M is going to be the number of miles. And what we want is Rent a Ride, the cost for that, to be less than the cost for We Got Wheels. Right? Sometimes it's just useful to write things out in words first, and then you can replace that with your algebraic statements that will help you get what they're asking you for. So we're going to let M be the number of miles because that's what they want. For what number of miles? Rent a Ride has to cost less than We Got Wheels. We want to know when that will be. So how could we represent the cost for Rent a Ride? How much does it cost to?
55.
55. Okay. So, and that's the only cost, right? The only cost there is. So we don't even need the M on that side because they just charge $55 a day, and there's unlimited miles. What would we do? What algebraic expression could we use, Kate, then to do the We Got Wheels?
38 plus 0.2x.
Okay, 0.20. I'm just going to make it as 20 so we can show that it's 20 cents. But okay, so 38 plus 0.20x, or actually we should use an M, right? Because that's what we chose as our variable. So we'll use the one that we let Blake choose. Okay. So now if we solve that, that should tell us the number of miles when the cost for Rent a Ride would be less than We Got Wheels. So go ahead and solve that and see what that tells us. What do you get? What is 17 divided by 0.20?
85.
85, okay. Okay, and we're going to write sentence answers today. Our final answer is going to be in sentence form. So what does that tell us? does our algebraic solution that we just got really tell us?
85 is less than all real numbers.
Okay, 85 is less than all real numbers, but let's address the question that they asked.
For a rent-a-ride to be less than without wheels, you have to drive more than 85 miles.
Okay, so can we make that shorter and more succinct so we don't have to write quite as much? Or how about we start like something like when driving more than 85 miles. So in other words, your destination is more than 85 miles away. So when driving more than 85 miles, rent a ride is cheaper, right? Now what less than the cost of something else means is cheaper. Okay. So when driving more than 85 miles, rent a ride is cheaper. So this is your final answer today, a sentence answer that addresses what they were having you look for. Okay? So I won't stamp papers tomorrow. You don't have that many problems to do, and when if you don't have sentence answers like this. Tell me something about the 85. What would the 85 really give us? If you drove 85 miles, let's say you knew you were going to put on exactly 85 miles on this car or truck or whatever it is that you're renting. Which place should you rent from?
We got these.
We got wheels?
Either one.
Either one.
Be the same price.
Okay, at 85 miles, it should be the same price, shouldn't it? In other words, if we would have started this out as an equation, there'd be an equal sign there, correct? We would have said when the cost is the same as equal to the other one, so 85 miles is when it would be the same. It doesn't matter which place you rent from. Okay, well then if it's less than 85 miles, what do we know?
We got wheels.
We got wheels is a better deal, right? Okay. Okay, any questions about that one?
No.
Okay, let's look at this next one. If the area of a triangle with a base length of 8 inches and a height of 3x plus 1 inches is less than 76 square inches, what is the maximum height of the triangle? I'm thinking a good way to start this might be just to draw our triangle. Just draw a random triangle and show those dimensions on it. So it has a base length of 8 inches and a height is always a perpendicular height from the vertex at the top there to the base. So that height is the 3x plus 1, and those two are inches, and we want to put that 3x plus 1 in parentheses. Okay, yes, John?
You have to multiply them together.
Well, how do you find the area of a triangle? Anybody know? John?
I multiply them together and then divide by 2.
You multiply them together and divide by 2. That's one way. And what's another way that somebody might write that same formula? Instead of base times height divided by 2, that's one way to write the formula. Okay, I'll give you that. It's A equals base times height over 2. Or, that's really another way you'll see that same formula written. I want you to know that it really is the same thing. Anybody know the other way? Monisha?
Area equals half base times height.
Yeah, area equals half base times height. Okay. Does anybody know why that divided by 2 is there, or that multiplying by 1/2 is there? Where did that ever come from? How did they get that formula? Anybody have any idea what they think? Sage?
Wouldn't 2 halves of a triangle make a rectangle if you put them together?
Okay. So I think we should say that the other way around though. Wouldn't 2 halves of a rectangle be triangles? Each of the halves be triangles?
Yeah.
So in other words, a triangle
can be half of a rectangle. How do we find the area of a rectangle?
You multiply based on height.
You multiply base times height or length times width. So, okay, so now what we can do is it says the area though is less than 76 square inches. So depending on which one you want to use, you're going to plug in 76 where? Where's that 76 going to go in? For A. Okay, what are we going to put in for B?
8 inches.
8. We don't have to use the inches in our work. And then what are we going to put in for H? Okay, 3x plus 1. And then are we going to keep the equal sign equal? It says
No.
is less than
So you
76.
need to put the BH divided by 2, and then you need to do the less than.
So I'm going to use this one. You guys use whichever one you want. 76 is going to go in for, oops, we just said we're not going to use the equal sign, and then I still did it. Okay, got to use an inequality symbol. Can I, if I do it from this direction, is less than, can I do it like, let me get my pen back. Can I do it like this, is less than? It says
No.
It says, if the area of the triangle is less than 76 square inches, so maybe we should move the 76 over to the other side, huh? Let's put the 76 over here. Maybe it'll make more sense to us that way. The area has to be less than 76. So we're going to put in 1/2, and then that 8. And then I didn't give myself very much room here. I'm going to have to go back and rewrite again. 3x plus 1 is less than 76. So how do we find the area? We take 1/2 times the base times the height. That area, in this case, it says is less than 76 square inches. We'll leave the square off for right now. Okay. So 8 is the base, 3x is the height. Look at what our question is. What is the, what? Maximum height. So what in this represents height? Maximum height. This part right here is the height, isn't it? So do we have to solve this all the way down and figure out what x is, do you think? No. Let's just do this part right here. Let's take half of 8. What is half of 8? 4. Okay? Now instead of doing distributive property, what could we do instead? What's another option we have rather than doing distributive? We could cancel. Well, if we're going to cancel, what do we have to do? 3x plus 1 is being multiplied by 4, is it not? How do we undo multiplying? We divide. What should we divide by? 4, the same thing it's being multiplied by. So we're going to take this, the left side, we're going to divide it by 4. We're going to take the right side and divide it by 4. Because there's multiplication going on here.
So when you just.
So now what happens? So these just cancel. We're not going to do that distributive property and get 12. We're going to cancel those because look at what's left now. What is this 3x plus 1? What's it representing? The height. What was the, we were supposed to find? What's the maximum height of the triangle? So what is 76 divided by 4? What's 76 divided by 4? 19. Here's what we have right now. We have 3x plus 1 is less than 19. So what's the maximum height of the triangle? Do we have to go any further?
6.
No. No. This is the height. 3x plus 1 is the height. Not x.
Oh, no, x is equal to 6. And then
X is equal to 6, but then if we put it back in, we're just going to get what again?
19.
19. So do we really need to know what x is the question. Do we really need to know what x is? Does it say what is the maximum value x can be? Is that what it asked? No, it asked what is the maximum height of the triangle.
height.
Hey, this is height right here, you guys. Would you write that underneath? Height. This is the height right there. We do not need to know what x is in this case? We can answer the question right now. The height of the triangle cannot be, or has to be,
Less than 19.
less than 19, yeah. The height of the triangle, we can't even really state exactly what the maximum height could be, but we could say that the height of the triangle has to be less than 19, and what do they measure? What's the height measured in, you suppose?
Inches.
Inches, just like the baseline. Because when you take inches times inches, that's where the square inches came from. So the height of the triangle has to be less than 19 inches. There's our sentence final answer. Now, that's why it's always really important is you make sure you're checking to see what are they asking you for. If they would have asked in this situation, what's the maximum value x can be, we would have had to keep going and get that x is less than 6. And we would have said that the x would have to be less than 6 inches. But that's not what they were asking, so that's why we got to stop and not take it any further, and instead say, we got the height right here. So any questions on that one? Okay, let's go to the back side. We get Keith, who's racing his little sister Patty, and has given her a 15-foot head start. Well, that's good, because he's a big brother, you better give her a head start. She runs 5 feet per second, and he is chasing, or in other words, because he's starting behind her, it's kind of like he's chasing her at 8 feet per second. For how long can Patty stay ahead of her brother once he starts chasing her? How are we going to figure this one out? John?
I think you should set, it should be, 8s is S stands for seconds.
Oh, okay, so we're trying to figure out how many seconds?
Yes.
Okay, so S is gonna be your variable in this case.
Yes.
Okay, so let's write that down then. S is time in seconds, okay? Because that's what the rate is measured in, is feet per second, so that's a good choice, okay?
And then, I don't know, it should be, 8s is greater than or equal to 15 plus 5s.
Okay, 8S is greater than or equal to, what'd you say?
15 plus 5s.
Okay, so in other words, 8S, what's that representing?
8 is the feet per second.
Well, no, 8 is the feet per second. That's the rate, how fast she's running, and the S is how long in seconds. So what is 8S actually representing?
How fast they run.
No, 8S. What does 8S give us?
8 seconds.
Well, 8 gives us 8 feet per second. S gives us the number of seconds. What does 8S give us?
Feet per second.
8
Seconds.
feet. What if, okay, let's do this. What if we know that we were driving 70 miles per hour and we drove for 2 hours?
Oh, 8 is 8%.
What would that 70 times 2 give us? 140 miles. It would tell us how far we went. Okay, so what is 8S going to tell us in this situation?
40 feet.
How many feet? Yeah, how many feet has she run? Okay, so if this is gonna represent number of feet, then the other side has to represent number of feet also. So what would we need on the other side then?
15 plus 5s.
I'm sorry, what?
15 plus 5s.
15 plus 5s, okay? And then what's our in between gonna be? What's our inequality symbol gonna be for this one?
Greater than
greater than or equal to? Okay, what do you think, class? Do you think we can agree with this? So 15 plus 5s tells us how many feet altogether the brother has run. And so this is saying the number of feet is greater than or equal for the younger sister is greater than or equal to the number of feet for the brother. Okay, so you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, let's try solving and see what happens then. Okay. Go ahead and solve. Get the same algebraic solution I did. S is greater than or equal to 5 seconds. Okay. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it says, for how long can Patty stay ahead of her brother once he starts chasing her? So what does this say?
That she can stand in front of him for 5 seconds while he's chasing her.
And she can stay at, that would be the equal to part. At 5 seconds, it's saying then that she's ahead of him.
No, that she's equal to or behind him.
She's behind him at 5 seconds. It says the time in seconds is greater than or equal to 5. For how long can Patty stay ahead of her brother once he starts chasing her? So she can stay ahead of him for 5 seconds. Okay. Will she be ahead of him at 5 seconds?
No.
No. What will happen at 5 seconds?
He will be in front of her.
It'd be equal to
He should be right beside her, right? He should have caught up to her at 5 seconds. So do you think the equal to bar should be there?
No.
No, because it wants to know how long can she stay ahead. So we need to get that equal to bar out of there. That's got to go. And now we're ready to answer our question. Patty will stay ahead of her brother for
5 seconds.
5 seconds. And after that, what happens?
Don't be.
He catches up and passes her, right? Okay, so let's write Patty would be ahead of her brother for up to 5 seconds. So we don't have to make it so long. We could say for up to, so anytime up to 5 seconds, she will be ahead of him. At 5 seconds, they're going to be at the same spot. After 5 seconds, he's up and in front of her, isn't he? So Patty would be ahead of her brother for up to 5 seconds. So there's our sentence answer for that one. Okay, now we could have switched the inequality symbol around on this one and done is less than also. Because then that one would have said the time had to be less than 5 seconds for her to be actually ahead of him. So it's just depending on how you're going to look at it. Okay, but we should still get the same answer. Okay, number 4. If a rectangle has a length of x plus 2 and a width of 7, let's draw that. Let's make that picture. We have this rectangle, and it has a length of x plus 2 centimeters and a width of 7 centimeters. For what values of x, oh notice this time it does say x, for what values of x is the area of the rectangle greater than the perimeter? Oh, I'm going to go right here and I'm going to say area has to be greater than perimeter. How do you find the area of a rectangle?
Length times width.
Length times width. Let's replace capital A with LW.
How do you find the perimeter of a rectangle?
L plus
length
W
plus
times
Length plus length,
plus
which
width.
can also be written as,
L squared.
no, not L squared.
L times 2 and L
Okay,
plus
2L. We have 2 lengths
plus 2
plus 2 widths. That's how we find perimeter. Distance around. Okay, distance around. So if we have to do distance around, we have two lengths, we have two widths. Okay, now replace those L's and those W's with our L and W from our rectangle. Write your inequality statement, replacing L with what?
2.
X plus 2. And W with 7. So wherever there's an L, we're going to put X plus 2. Wherever there's a W, we're going to put 7. And then we're going to simplify and then solve. Okay, go ahead and do that. And then our brain might want to go to, wait a minute, it can't be that because they didn't get a nice number. But it can be. Didn't say it had to be an integer value. Didn't say round to the nearest integer value. So we're going to continue on and divide by our 5. And is 4/5 a nice decimal? No. What is the nice decimal for 4/5? 0.8. Okay, so 0.8.
Plus.
So we get x is greater than 0.8. So we'll go back up and answer the question that was asked, which was, for what values of x is the area greater than the perimeter? So when is the area greater than the perimeter?
0.8 higher.
No,
Well, no, what's true at 0.8? What would be true?
that's what X would have to be.
Okay, what happens when x is 0.8?
That means that
What's true about the area and the perimeter then?
the area is greater than the perimeter.
No. What's true? What would actually be true at 0.8? What if we put an equal sign in the beginning of this? Now it would say x equals 0.8. What would that tell us? What is 0.8? This says, okay, let's answer this question first then. The area is greater than the perimeter when x is greater than 0 and 8/10. That's what that tells us. The area is greater than, I lost my, part of my, I meant that to be an N there. The area is greater than the perimeter when x is greater than 0.8. What if x was 0.8? What would the area and how would the area and perimeter be related then?
They would be equal.
They would be equal to each other. When x is less than 0.8, what's true?
The area is greater than the perimeter.
No, the area would be less than the perimeter, or the perimeter would be greater than the area, right? So
That's not right. What?
this is when x is greater than 0.8, the area is greater than the perimeter.
Oh,
If it's less than 0.8, now the perimeter is greater, isn't it? Not the area.
Okay, so these are the types of things that you're going to be doing in your homework. And again, you set up your own inequality statement, describe what your variable is gonna represent unless it's a situation like this where it was already in the problem for you. And then set up your inequality, solve it, answer the final question in a sentence. If you don't have a sentence answer tomorrow, I'm not gonna consider it done. Any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay,